Okay, we're working on a Hyster today. We're putting it back together. Just going to show you guys how to put the brakes, the drums on it, and the shoes and the wheel cylinders. We put new brake lines on this one. You can see the new brake lines in there. Now he ran it up through the front. And he ran it over the steering column. I don't know if you can see that in there, but it comes up and goes up and around there. We put new ones in there. The wheel cylinders are bolted in from the back. Run new brake lines to the wheel cylinders, bolted them into the back. Also we cleaned up the one emergency brake cable, but the other one couldn't be cleaned up, so we installed a new one. And we had to modify that. We already got that done and got it in, so not really going to be able to show you that. However, where'd you buy that? You bought it off of eBay?
Mm-hmm.
It's just another brake cable that was the same length?
Yeah, but it wasn't exactly the same.
Right, the head of it was different. We had to actually cut a washer and put a washer on it with a slot in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically how I fixed the emergency brake cable, but sorry we didn't get to show you that. Anyways, we're going to show you how to put all the brakes and stuff back on, and how to tighten down the wheel, the drum, and set the preload on the drum wheel bearings.
Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is, this is the e-brake. I'm going to hook it on the cable to the e-brake cable. Kind of pull that spring back, set it in there, let it go. Pops right in place. And you'll notice there's a pin back here. This is it's an eccentric. That's for adjusting your brake in and out so you're not too tight or not too loose to the drum. I'm not going to adjust that today because it was pretty close from get-go from before, and hopefully I don't have to adjust that because it's hard to get in behind there with wrenches. Notice there's a slot down here. The bottom's got to fit in that slot. Take a little hammer, kind of tap it. Trying to clean this slot out. This thing's been setting for 9 years. Got a lot of dirt and rust on it. Try to clean some of that out of there a little bit so it's free. There's a slot here, it's a flat spot, and then this flat has got to go into there. It's like a keyway in the brake cylinder. Here we go. Alright. Now that one's on there. Now on the back side is a pin that I told you that's eccentric, and it takes a washer, and it's like a bevel washer. Holds pressure on, keeps that shoe in place. I put the bevel washer to the inside. A little difficult getting behind here. You can shove this forward. Get behind it. Alright, once you get those washers on there, the bevel washer, there's a little key that slips over a groove. Then you crimp it with your pliers so it stays on there. It's kind of like a C-clip. Okay, hook that spring, goes over this pin, and you got to have it lined up here with the brake cylinder. Now you can put the bevel washer, bevel washer, the washer, and now we got the clip that goes on there, holds it in place. Make sure it's up in the groove, then squeeze it shut. There you go. There, it holds that on. Next we got to get this in here. Loosen up the e-brake all the way. Get as much slack out of it here. That's your e-brake adjustment. Okay, you got that in place there. Shove it back together. You see the brackets in there? Now, you got to hook, there's a hole. You see this hole here? There's a hole on the back side. You got to hook that spring in it. Find that hole. It's a little difficult to find. Yeah. There it is. The hole is way back here. You'll notice you got to go way back here with the spring and grab it. Now I take a screwdriver, once it's in the hole back there, just kind of make sure it's all the way in. You can look back here and see it and you can feel it. It's hooked. There it is. Okay, I take a dial caliper. The way I do it, you notice that the brake shoes can go up and down, but you want to find the center so you can get this hub over it. You can watch that dial go up and down. It's dropping. That's going up. Going up, going down.
So you don't find a high spot and a low spot?
Yep, find a high spot and a low spot on that, on the brake shoes. Let's see if the brake shoes will go inside the drum, because if that's wider, this would be wider and it wouldn't fit in the hole. But you can see we got play. So the drum should go over the brake shoes, no problem.
So you basically, after you found the high and low spot, you basically measured the drum and made sure that they'll fit.
That's right. Right here is where the seal rides on the axle, and this is like a split bearing. The rear bearing only gets greased like an automobile, and the front bearing gets oiled by the 90-weight gear oil that's in the transmission. So the seal right here separates it. And it's got a little bit of surface rust on it. And I just so happen to have a crank grinder, and you want to use a fine sandpaper. You don't want to use a coarse one, and just clean that edge up. Yeah, this is a worn one. You don't want to use a coarse piece of grit because you'll leave deep grooves and it'll mess up your surface.
What this belt does is just polish the crankshaft. It doesn't really take any metal off. What grit would you say that is?
This is probably like a 400 grit.
And after it's wore out, it's probably like a 500 grit, 600 grit?
Might even be thinner than that.
So it could be a 700 grit that he's polishing with. You're going to be reusing all the old bearings and stuff?
The old bearings, I put new seals in the drum to separate it right here. Because the ones that were on there, they were in pretty bad shape. And you can get those seals locally